Hello, Detective Banks. I want to play a game.
You should probably run. Hell no.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Hello everyone, Joshua Myers here, and welcome back for another movie review. And today I'm going to be reviewing the classic Halloween 2 from 1981.
From the people who brought you Halloween, more of the night he came home. Halloween 2. There is no place to hide. He will always find you. Halloween 2. More of the night he came home. Rated R.
Halloween 2 stars Jamie Lee Curtis, Donald Pleasence, Charles Cypher, Lance Guest, Pamela Shoop, Hunter Von Leer, Leo Rossi, and it's directed by Rick Rosenthal. The plot of Halloween 2 is after failing to kill stubborn survivor Laurie Strode, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, and taking a bullet or six from former psychiatrist Dr. Sam Lewis, played by Donald Pleasence. Michael Myers, played by Dick Warlock, has followed Laurie to the Haddonfield Memorial Hospital, where she's been admitted for Myers' attack. The institution isn't particularly suited to serial killers. However, as Myers cuts, stabs, and slashes away from the hospital staff to reach his favorite victim. So, it's finally time. It's finally time to discuss Halloween 2. Now, I only got a few more films in this franchise to review. I got this one, and then I got Halloween Resurrection and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, and then I'm done with this franchise until the next movie comes out, or until a TV series comes out. Whatever. Like, whatever they do next is, until whatever they do next comes out, whether it be movie or TV series, this is it for a while. And of course, after I review all these movies, the last seasons, I will be doing a full ranking of the Halloween franchise. I did a short ranking of them like a little while ago. Short, so you can go check that out. But if you want my full thoughts and why I place the films where they are and everything like that, just wait until my ranking. Okay, Halloween 2. Let's start off with the positives. I will say this. My thoughts has changed recently on Halloween 2, so might be bumped up in the ranking. But I still have some issues with it. So, but before we get into the issues, let's talk about the positives. So, here we go. And starting off with the positives, I honestly think it was a really clever idea to have the film start off moments, like literally starts off at the end of the original film and then continues on, almost like this is exactly like to show that this is exactly the same night as the by the end of the original movie. So this is honestly a pretty, like, you can watch the original Halloween and then watch Halloween 2. In fact, I'm honestly surprised, there hasn't been like this, I'm sure Van has probably done it somewhere, but I'm kind of surprised that there hasn't been an official release of this, but where they combine both the original Halloween and the original Halloween 2, and make it this one long, super long movie like this, to where it's seamless with surprised they haven't. Maybe they will in the future. I don't know. Maybe we'll get an official cut like that. I don't know. But yeah, I love that. I love that aspect. Starting off really good. I also really dig the fact that, for the most part, pretty much everybody who worked on the original film came back to work on this one. And actually, let's talk about the way the film looks, because honestly, this is another positive, is that Halloween 2 feels looks the most like the original film out of any of the sequels. And I think that's because you get the same people on board to do the cinematography. I think the cinematographer in the original was Dean Cundy, and came back to Halloween 2, and I think they pretty much filmed on the same film stock and everything. So, because of that, it looks and feels like, especially looks more like the original film out of any of the sequels following this film. Again, kind of brings it back to that this could be a good double feature, you know? You could watch the original and then watch Halloween 2 straight after. It's like, also too, another thing I would like to give praise for is the acting. The acting is especially good, especially from Donald Pleasence, who, again, gives a phenomenal performance. Jamie Lee Curtis is good too. She's not really shown in the film much, and we will get to that in my mixed aspects of the film. But for, you know, what little time she has in the film, she does a good job as well. I also like, you know, characters like Jimmy and Bud, played by Lance Guest and Leo Rossi. I think they do a good job. I think Pamela Shoop does a good job. Hunter Von Leer as Deputy Gary Hunt does a good job. All the actors do a really good job in this film. So, gotta give props to these actors. Another thing I would like to sing praise for with this movie, and that was, pun intended, is the score. The score in this movie is composed by John Carpenter yet again, but he has a co-composer this time around, and that composer is Alan Howard, who would also go on to co-compose the score for Halloween 3 Season Witch with John Carpenter. And then after John Carpenter leaves the franchise for a while, he would take over in composing the music for Halloween 4, 5, and 6. So, and honestly, it's a great score. Now, in my original review of Halloween 2, which I did years ago over on my main channel, I personally thought that the score didn't really work well in the film. Now, I also said I love the score, especially listening to it on the CD soundtrack I got, but rewatching the film, I think the score actually fits pretty well. Like, Halloween 2 kind of has a gothic atmosphere to it, kind of gothic vibe. Even the opening title pumpkin sequences kind of has a gothic approach to it, because as the camera pans and moves towards the pumpkin, as the pumpkin's coming closer to the screen, it cracks open, revealing a human skull in there, and it just moves. You know, like, it kind of has a gothic vibe, and the music also emulates that gothic vibe. So, again, I think it works pretty well in the film. Another thing is that there is some, like, the one thing I used to not really think about, and I always thought it didn't really have much of suspense, but now looking back after another rewatch, I did go into this with an open mind again, almost as if I didn't see the movie prior, and yeah, it does have some suspenseful moments. They do have kind of build up to the suspense, but there are some problems with some of the scares, and I'll get into that in my negatives. Another positive I have is the ending. I actually really like the ending, like the final sequence, the ending to this film. Now, is it as good as the original film's ending, where, you know, it's like more ambiguous, it's more... No, I personally prefer the ending to the original. I even prefer the ending to Halloween 4 over the ending to Halloween 2, but Halloween 2 has a good finale. it's definitely one where it's like a closure to it, because at this point in time, they killed Michael Myers. This was going to be it. But, you know, money talks, and, you know, it took like about, and Michael Myers was in hiatus for about probably something like 7 years. So Michael Myers was in hiatus for 7 years after this movie, so Halloween 3 did pretty poorly. I mean, it did fine in the box office, but it was negatively reviewed by critics and audiences. So they were like, okay, let's, you know, and again, I've mentioned all this in my review of Halloween 3 and my review of Halloween 4, so go check those out. But yeah, this was meant to be the, you know, ending of the Michael Myers story. This was it. So, and John Carpenter wanted to essentially, you know, turn Halloween into an anthology franchise where they would tell a different story that's surrounded with themes of Halloween, themes of imagery, and I think they were planning on having one come out every year. So, let's say if they did that starting in 1982, if Halloween 3 was successful, then the following year, 1983, would have been another one in 1984. I don't know how long it would have gone for personally. I feel like even if it did pretty well, I'm not sure how long it would have been gone for, but it would have been cool. But anyway, so, but I do like this ending. I like this kind of closure ending. Like, you could watch the original Halloween and watch this and then be like, you know what, that's it. None of the films exist, you know. That's the Michael Myers story. You know, that's it. The original and this. Again, I like, also too, the practical effects are pretty good, actually. Especially in regards to stunt work and stuff. Like, I know, again, speaking of that finale when, there was an explosion and everything like that, and, Dick Warlock, who plays Michael Myers in this film, had to do this fire stunt. This huge fire stunt. And it's an amazing fire stunt. Like, the fact, like, I still to this day, whenever I see people do fire stunts and that, especially ones like this, I'm like, how are they able to do that and still be relatively safe? Now, of course, Dick Warlock did came out with some burns and that because the coveralls he was wearing had these metal zippers. So because of that, it ended up, and as for, you know, and for those who don't know, metal is a good conductor of heat. So when you're in fire, like drenched in fire and all that stuff, and you're wearing stuff that has metal, that is going to really, you know, attract heat and get so hot that it can burn through your skin. So there's that, and yeah. But again, props to Dick Warlock for that. I mean, and honestly, I'm trying to think of anything else I particularly like about this movie. Honestly, that's all I can think of, so let's go into the things I'm rather mixed on with this movie. The pacing. The pacing of this film is really good. The film comes in at an hour and 33 minutes, and it flows by pretty quickly. And starting off with that, honestly, I would say is Jamie Lee Curtis in this movie. Now, again, like I said, she does do a good job, but I'm talking about the role of the character of Laurie Strode. For most of the time, she's in a hospital bed, not doing much really. So yeah, so not doing much, and so we don't really get to see much of her performance, unlike in the original film. So there's that, but she does good still. Honestly, that's about it that I have in mixed song with this film. So let's go on to my negatives. My negatives for Halloween 2 is personally Dick Warlock as Michael Myers. Now, I'm not blaming Dick Warlock for this. You know, he was just given directions on how to portray himself throughout. But for me, I feel like Michael Myers in this film is true Warlock. Whereas if you were to compare how Michael Myers moved in the original versus Halloween 2, Michael Myers in the original, like, literally the only direction was just walk around. And with Nick Castle, who played Michael Myers in the original Halloween, he was a bit faster paced than Dick Warlock. He was more kind of like graceful, I guess. It was almost like he was fighting almost. Dick Warlock was a bit more melodic, was a bit more slower than Nick Castle. And I'm just not a fan of that. I'm just not a fan of that. Now, like, I prefer more of how Castle portrayed Michael Myers and Dick Warlock, but again, that's not the fault of Dick Warlock, you know. So I'm not 100% blaming. I'm not putting blame on him. So apparently they liked the way he walked for the most part, and although I think I heard somewhere, maybe in the behind the scenes, that apparently some people said, like, one of the people behind the scenes or something like that said that he didn't like his performance because he was too slow. Something like that. I don't remember. I might put a clip here of that, but I remember hearing something like that. So, and another thing I don't like about the film is the fact that they up the blood and the gratuitousness of this film. Now, here's the thing: I am not against gore. I am not against gore at all. There's some films I love that are really gory. Like, I love Hatchet, I love Reanimator, I love The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing. I love those movies. And those are really gory movies. Hellraiser is a pretty gory film. I love that. But the reason I have a problem with it is that the original Halloween didn't need to rely on gratuitousness, really, like, in order for it to be a film. In fact, there's people to this day who, it's kind of the same thing with the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. A lot of people to this day say that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original from 1974, is one of the goriest films they've ever seen. If you actually watch the film, there's barely any action. Same thing with the original Halloween. I mean, there's some people that swear that they saw blood in the original Halloween, which they didn't. They didn't saw blood. I mean, maybe there was a little bit of blood here and there, but overall, the original Halloween used no blood. It was a bloodless movie, and people thought it was blood. And that's the kind of whole concept of theater of the mind. And yeah, that's the problem with Halloween 2. In fact, John Carpenter has had disdain for Halloween 2, and there's a lot of reasons why. And I can't blame him. I can't blame him for having disdain for this movie. Now, I'm not sure what his thoughts are on the film now, after all this time. Maybe his thoughts have, kind of faded since then. I don't know. But I mean, I don't blame him considering everything that he dealt with when making this, like, when being involved in this film. So, I can't blame him for that, really. So, and I get why he would have disdain for the film because of that. And that's it with my negatives, so let's move on to my rating. So with that said, I know when I originally reviewed Halloween 2, my original review was 3 stars. Like 3 out of 5 stars. So I would say I would bump it up a bit. My new rating for Halloween 2 is a 4 out of 5 stars. Honestly, it was it was pretty good. I liked it this time watching it. So I can see why a lot of people would consider this one of the better sequels. I can see why, but I can also see why people may not like Halloween 2. Because I have some of the same problems as well. So, but overall, I had a fun time with it, and yeah. So that's it for this review. Thank you guys for watching, and I shot him 6 times.